So arguably the biggest topic right now in video games is The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and I mean rightfully so. I know it's strange for someone like me to talk about this game because I'm not a Nintendo YouTuber, but this is one of my most anticipated games of 2023 and one of my most anticipated games in a very long time. I'm a big fan of The Legend of Zelda. I've been playing them for a very long time, longer than some of you people have been alive. I was a fan of Breath of the Wild, but Tears of the Kingdom was definitely a unique sort of game because it had been in development for so long. There was so much mystery surrounding it. And I feel like with this new trailer that we got, there's something bigger than just Tears of the Kingdom, bigger than the Legend of Zelda franchise that nobody seems to really be realizing about this game and sort of how everything has been happening with this game. So that's what I want to talk about in today's video. First and foremost, I want to thank you guys though. My Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom reaction video actually got on gaming trending, which I was not expecting that. I just wanted to watch the trailer and share my opinion with you guys. So if you haven't checked out that video yet, make sure you check it out. A lot of good in-depth stuff in there. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 500,000 subscribers. But this video kind of came up because of a video that OJ over at Player Essence made. Now, OJ talks a lot about Nintendo stuff, JRPGs. Can you say JRPGs anymore? I don't know. I'm going to say it because there's nothing wrong with it, and kiss my ass if you have a problem with it. But OJ made a video talking about The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, like many Nintendo YouTubers have. And of course, the video that he made recently was talking about how people said that The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was essentially a $70 DLC to Breath of the Wild. And that was a mantra that was flying around the internet for quite a while. And he, of course, was poking fun at people who had that mindset. But what's interesting about that mindset to me personally is, up until this final trailer, I'm not quite sure that I felt that Tears of the Kingdom was really anything sort of beyond that. Now, what do I mean by that? You know, the average person when they're saying it, I think is saying something a bit different than I am. They feel like, oh, well, this could have just been added to Breath of the Wild because it started as DLC, this, that, and the other. Okay, whatever. To me, sequels are all about, and this is something I say time and time again, sequels are all about taking something that you have, building upon it, and making it better. It should have similarities to the original game if it's a true sequel, not like a reboot or something like that. But with Tears of the Kingdom, everything that we saw leading up to the final trailer was kind of like, okay, there was a vibe to it. There was a sensation to it that I kept feeling in everything. Even in the 10-minute gameplay trailer, there was a consistent vibe to the game that I felt like this is kind of, you know, Breath of the Wildy, but it's going to be different ways to solve things. Because everything that they showed you was about new abilities, you know, Link's new abilities, the things that he can do, you know, the whole tethering system that you have within the game now where you can, you know, take an item and attach it to like a weapon and then you make your own weapon. It allows you to solve puzzles in different manners. You know, that was pretty much, if you go back and look at it, it's clear as day as well. That was pretty much the focal point of every trailer. It was never about the bigger scope. It was never about that. It was about the new abilities that Link was going to have. So if you take that on the surface level, it does kind of look like, oh, well, there's just some new gameplay mechanics added into it. But what's really separating this game from its predecessor? Especially, let's keep in mind, this is going to be Nintendo's most expensive first-party Nintendo Switch game, a $70 Nintendo Switch game. I never really felt, personally, that they showed me anything beforehand that was like, okay, I understand why this game is $70. And I don't even necessarily think that after the amazing trailer that even sort of changed my mind, but I can understand it a little bit more because here's what happened with that final trailer. It showed everything. It showed me story. It showed me how the world of Hyrule was different. It showed me different sorts of areas I was going to visit in. It showed me different gameplay mechanics that I hadn't seen before. It showed me how Hyrule was extremely different because I've played a ton of Breath of the Wild, and I'll tell you right now, a lot of those areas were areas that were in Breath of the Wild that were completely transformed, and some of them I had never even seen before. So I don't even know if they're new or not. But it made me realize something. Like, that trailer was absolutely amazing. It's trending #1 on YouTube right now. It has like over 4 million views, I believe, or at least over 3.5 million views in a day. I'm filming this video the day after this whole presentation happened. You are seeing it on Saturday though. But what's the one thing that everyone missed that I alluded to at the start of this video? Is it something involving The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and like how it's different than Breath of the Wild? No, it honestly has nothing to do with that. It's about video games as a whole. And I think this is the perfect point that was made with this video game. Video game marketing has completely changed. And this is something that I've been talking about a bit. If you've watched some of my videos, I've always kind of alluded to it, especially with this game, Tears of the Kingdom. But I feel like this is sort of the line in the sand that we can say, you know what? Okay, it's time to admit that video game marketing has changed, and we need to accept it so that we don't have situations where everyone gets all goo goo gaga and crazy. Look at a game like, you know, Splatoon 2 to Splatoon 3, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 to Xenoblade Chronicles 3. The marketing for those games didn't really ramp up until like a month before, and then a month before they showed you all this cool, amazing stuff. We don't even have to talk about Nintendo with this. We could talk about PlayStation. When you looked at how God of War Ragnarok happened, God of War Ragnarok had this same conversation. This is $70 DLC to God of War Reboot. And what ended up happening? All of those people ended up eating crow because God of War Ragnarok is arguably one of the best PlayStation 5 experiences that you can get, and was substantially better and more refined than God of War Ragnarok, or than God of War, you know, the reboot was. And what happened with that? It was about a month before that game came out, they really showcased a lot of stuff with the game. That's what The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is proving, because I can't sit here and argue with someone if before the final trailer dropped, they looked at me and said, I think that Tears of the Kingdom looks like $70 Breath of the Wild DLC. I don't think anyone could really argue with them. You know, because we didn't really see a whole hell of a lot. Yes, the new abilities were cool. The new enemy types were cool. But it needed something a bit more. Especially when we're charging as much as Nintendo is charging for this game, the first $70 game. Why am I paying $10 more for this game than Breath of the Wild if you're not really showing me anything crazy? It had that feeling to it. But literally a month before the game comes out, all the questions were answered. The whole tune of this game was changed. And that's because it has everything to do with how we accept information and what we're used to. We're used to these games, you know, getting overexposed, and there's still games that get overexposed. Don't get me wrong. Some of these games, I have seen way too much stuff from it. It's like, okay, Final Fantasy 16, look, bro, I've been sold on that game for a very long time. I don't need a 20+ minute presentation, Sony. I get it. You wanted to have something cool to show off. It looks great. It's always looked great. I don't need to see, you know, every little in-depth thing about it, but, you know, it was an amazing presentation. But I feel like, generally speaking, video game marketing has changed. They're not showing you everything they have to show you right at the start. It's this cold and slow build-up. And it's like, you sit there and you wonder, but then like a month before, it's like, okay, now we're going. Now we're talking about this game. Now I'm going to show you what's different about this game. Now I'm going to get you excited for this game. And it might work and it might not. I feel like there have been instances where, you know, sometimes the ramp up process, looking at Redfall, it's been absolutely disastrous. It's not a guaranteed recipe for success, but I feel like with a lot of these bigger titles, I mean, it has been. You know, Tears of the Kingdom went from that game that people were, you know, questioning. They were questioning, is this going to be worth my $70? I don't know, man. It looks kind of like Breath of the Wild. And then they were just like, hey, this looks like Breath of the Wild's proper sequel. And I can't wait for this game, man. I am so excited for it. And I feel like this was a monumental thing. And if people can't get it into their heads that video game marketing has changed with this presentation, they're never going to get it. So spread this video around. Get people aware of the fact that, yes, this is how it is nowadays. So you better accept it, or else you're constantly going to be looking like a freaking moron because you're writing off all these games, and then a month before they come out, companies are like, bam, suck it. Okay, let me stop. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about today. Let me know if you feel what I'm saying, if it makes sense to you. If it does, share the video around, leave a comment down below. And if not, share the video around, leave a comment down below anyways. Like, don't be a jerk off. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 500,000 subscribers. Once again, thank you guys so much for getting my Tears of the Kingdom video reaction video trending. That was crazy to see. I actually didn't know. MVG hit me up and was like, oh, look at Mr. Trending over here. And I was like, oh, what? Sick. So that was definitely a cool thing to see. Love you guys. Thank you guys for your constant support. And I will catch you guys on the next video. Whenever that is. Probably be the next day. Later.